What if the greatest power you have is the one nobody can see? In a world addicted to instant pleasure, distraction, and endless temptation, choosing discipline becomes an act of rebellion. While others chase temporary highs, a rare few protect their energy, sharpen their focus, and build a force within that cannot be bought, stolen, or controlled. Celibacy is not about deprivation, it is about transformation. It is the art of turning desire into drive, impulse into purpose, and energy into personal power. Today you will discover why your celibacy may be the secret weapon that separates you from the crowd. Most people go through life carrying a treasure they never recognize. They possess a powerful source of energy within themselves, yet they spend it carelessly on distractions, impulses, and temporary pleasures. Every day, countless individuals wake up with potential, motivation, and creative force stored inside them, but instead of directing that energy toward growth, achievement, and self-mastery, they allow it to leak into habits that provide momentary satisfaction while producing long-term weakness. The tragedy is not that they lack power. The tragedy is that they never realized they had it in the first place. Look around at the modern world. Everything is designed to capture attention, stimulate desire, and keep people chasing the next source of instant gratification. Every notification, every temptation, every distraction competes for the most valuable resource a person has, their energy. People often think success is determined by talent, intelligence, or luck, but energy is the foundation beneath all of those things. Without energy, talent remains unused. Without energy, intelligence becomes dormant. Without energy, opportunities pass unnoticed. The individual who learns to preserve and direct energy gains an advantage that cannot easily be measured but can clearly be seen in the results they produce. They believe that constantly satisfying every urge makes them free, when in reality it often places them under the control of their impulses. True freedom begins when a person can feel an urge without becoming its servant. The ability to choose discipline over temptation is one of the greatest demonstrations of inner strength. It is the moment when a person stops reacting and starts leading themselves. Energy is not only physical, it is mental, emotional, and spiritual. Every decision you make either strengthens or weakens your ability to focus. Every habit either sharpens or dulls your awareness. When energy is scattered across endless distractions, concentration becomes difficult, goals feel distant, motivation fades quickly. Yet when energy is protected and directed toward meaningful pursuits, the mind becomes clearer, determination grows stronger, and progress begins to accelerate. Think about the individuals who accomplish extraordinary things. They often share a common characteristic. They are intensely focused. Their attention is not fragmented in 100 directions. They know where they are going, and they align their thoughts, actions, and habits with that destination. This level of focus is impossible when energy is constantly being drained by unnecessary distractions. Every major achievement requires sustained effort, and sustained effort requires preserved energy. Most people never connect their lack of progress with the energy they waste daily. They wonder why they struggle to stay motivated, why their confidence fluctuates, or why their ambitions remain unrealized. They search for external solutions while ignoring the internal leaks that slowly drain their power. It is similar to trying to fill a bucket with water while holes remain in the bottom. No matter how much effort is applied, the results remain limited until the leaks are addressed. The hidden energy within every person is capable of fueling creativity, ambition, resilience, and personal transformation. It can be invested in learning new skills, building a stronger body, developing a powerful mindset, creating opportunities, and pursuing a meaningful purpose. The same energy that can be wasted through careless habits can also be redirected into becoming a more disciplined, confident, and capable individual. There comes a moment in every person's journey when they must decide whether they will continue living according to impulse or begin living according to intention. That decision marks the beginning of real change. The person who learns to value their energy starts making different choices. They become more selective about what deserves their attention. They become more aware of what strengthens them and what weakens them. They stop giving away their power so easily and start investing it in a future that reflects their highest potential. The difference between an average life and an exceptional one is often not found in extraordinary talent, but in the consistent management of energy, attention, and discipline. Hidden beneath every great achievement is a reservoir of power that was protected, cultivated, and directed toward a worthy goal. Discipline is often misunderstood. Many people see it as restriction, punishment, or the denial of pleasure. They imagine discipline as a force that takes freedom away from them. In reality, discipline is what creates freedom. It is the bridge between who you are today and who you have the potential to become. Without discipline, goals remain wishes, promises remain words, and dreams remain fantasies. With discipline, even the most ambitious vision begins to take shape in the real world. The human mind is constantly pulled in different directions. One part seeks comfort, ease, and immediate gratification. Another part seeks growth, achievement, and long-term success. Every day, these two forces compete for control. The comfortable path is always available. It asks for nothing except surrender, encourages procrastination, excuses, and delay. The path of discipline demands effort, patience, and consistency. Yet it is the only path that leads to lasting strength. Most people wait for motivation before taking action. They believe they must feel inspired, energized, or emotionally ready before they begin. The problem with motivation is that it comes and goes. Some days it is powerful. Other days it disappears completely. If your progress depends on motivation, your results will always be inconsistent. Discipline operates differently. Discipline acts regardless of emotion. It continues moving forward whether conditions are perfect or imperfect. It shows up on difficult days, not just easy ones. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, something important happens inside your mind. You build trust. Confidence is not created by positive thinking alone. Confidence grows when your actions repeatedly prove that you can rely on yourself. When you say you will wake up early and you do it, trust increases. When you commit to a goal and follow through despite challenges, trust increases again. Over time, these small victories accumulate and form a powerful belief in your own capabilities. The opposite is also true. Every broken promise weakens self-trust. When people repeatedly tell themselves they will change tomorrow, start next week, or become serious later, they slowly train their minds to doubt their own words. Eventually, they stop believing in themselves because the actions have taught them that their commitments mean very little. Discipline reverses this process by restoring integrity between intention and action. An unbreakable mind is not a mind that never experiences fear, temptation, or difficulty. It is a mind that refuses to surrender to them. Strong individuals still face doubts. They still encounter challenges. They still feel the pull of comfort and distraction. The difference is that they do not allow those forces to determine their choices. They recognize emotions without becoming controlled by them. Every act of discipline strengthens mental resilience. Choosing the difficult workout when staying in bed feels easier. Choosing focused work when distractions are available. Choosing patience when immediate pleasure is tempting. These moments may seem small, but they are mental training sessions. Just as muscles grow through resistance, mental strength develops through challenge. Each disciplined action sends a message to the brain that comfort is not in control. Over time, discipline creates a powerful shift in identity. A person no longer sees themselves as someone who occasionally makes good decisions. They begin seeing themselves as a disciplined individual. This identity becomes self-reinforcing. Their standards rise, their expectations increase. Their behavior aligns with the person they believe themselves to be. The world often rewards those who can remain consistent while others become distracted. Favor individuals who stay committed long enough to develop expertise and produce meaningful results. Many people quit too early because they expect immediate rewards. Discipline understands that worthwhile achievements require time. It accepts delayed gratification and continues moving forward even when visible progress appears slow. There is immense power in knowing that your mind can withstand discomfort without breaking. Intimidate you. Challenges become tests rather than threats. Failure becomes feedback rather than defeat. Setbacks become temporary rather than permanent. The disciplined person understands that persistence often matters more than perfection. An unbreakable mind is built one decision at a time. It is forged in moments when nobody is watching, when excuses seem reasonable, and when giving up would be easy. Each disciplined choice adds another layer of strength, another layer of confidence, another layer of resilience until the mind becomes a force capable of pursuing goals with unwavering determination, regardless of circumstances. Desire is one of the most powerful forces within human nature. It has the ability to drive people toward extraordinary achievements or pull them into endless cycles of distraction and regret. Most people spend their lives reacting to desire without ever understanding its true potential. They see desire as something that must be immediately satisfied. The moment they feel an urge, they rush to fulfill it. They never stop to ask a crucial question. What would happen if this energy were redirected instead of released? Every great achievement begins with a form of desire. The desire to become stronger, the desire to build wealth, the desire to gain knowledge, the desire to create something meaningful. Desire itself is not the enemy. The real challenge is learning how to transform raw desire into focused ambition. When this transformation occurs, an individual gains access to a level of drive that most people never experience. Think of desire as fuel. Fuel by itself has little value if it is scattered across the ground. It becomes powerful only when it is collected, contained, and directed toward a specific purpose. In the same way, human energy becomes extraordinary when it is concentrated on a meaningful objective. It channels that energy into personal growth. Into every impulse loses the opportunity to channel that energy into personal growth. Who learns self-control begins storing and directing that energy toward goals that create lasting rewards. Many individuals struggle because they underestimate the connection between discipline and ambition. They believe ambition is something that appears naturally, reserved for a select group of highly motivated people. In reality, ambition often grows when energy is no longer being wasted. When distractions decrease, focus increases. When focus increases, clarity emerges. When clarity emerges, purpose becomes stronger. The result is a powerful sense of direction that fuels consistent action. History is filled with examples of people who achieved remarkable success through the ability to control themselves. Their greatness was not simply a product of talent. It came from their willingness to delay gratification and remain committed to a larger vision. While others chased temporary pleasures, they invested their energy into mastering skills that demanded patience. Their success was often the visible result of invisible sacrifices made over long periods of time. One of the greatest mistakes people make is assuming that ambition comes from external motivation. They search endlessly for inspiration through videos, books, speeches, and quotes. While inspiration can be helpful, it is temporary. Lasting ambition is generated internally. It grows when a person begins to see progress in their own life. Every disciplined action reinforces a sense of purpose. Every achievement, no matter how small, strengthens the desire to accomplish more. The transformation of desire into ambition requires awareness. The moment an urge appears, a choice becomes available. You can either satisfy the impulse immediately or redirect the energy towards something productive. This choice may seem insignificant in the moment, but repeated thousands of times over months and years, it shapes the direction of an entire life. Small decisions compound into powerful outcomes. There is a unique confidence that develops when you realize you are no longer controlled by your impulses. Instead of being pushed around by every craving and distraction, you become the one making conscious decisions. This creates a sense of personal authority that affects every area of life. You become more focused in your work, more committed to your goals, and more resilient when facing obstacles. Your energy is no longer scattered, it is aligned with a clear purpose. Ambition thrives when attention is protected. The modern world constantly competes for focus, offering endless entertainment and instant gratification. Many people lose years chasing distractions because they fail to recognize the value of their own energy. Those who learn to guard their attention gain a tremendous advantage. They spend more time building, learning, creating, and improving. Their efforts accumulate while others remain trapped in cycles of short-term satisfaction, rarely the result of a single dramatic action. More often, it is the outcome of countless moments in which a person chose growth over comfort, purpose over impulse, and long-term rewards over temporary pleasure. The energy that fuels ambition already exists within every individual. The challenge is learning how to harness it. Once that energy is directed toward a meaningful mission, it becomes a force capable of transforming ordinary potential into extraordinary achievement, turning every challenge into an opportunity for growth and every disciplined choice into another step toward a future defined by purpose, excellence, and relentless progress. Confidence is one of the most misunderstood qualities in the world. Many people believe it comes from appearance, status, money, popularity, or the approval of others. They spend years chasing external validation, hoping that recognition will finally make them feel powerful. Yet countless individuals who possess fame, wealth, admiration still struggle with insecurity. This reveals an important truth. Real confidence is not something given by the outside world. It is built within. The strongest confidence emerges from self-control. It is born when a person proves to themselves that they can govern their thoughts, actions, and impulses. Every time you choose discipline over temptation, you send a message to your mind that you are in charge. Every time you resist a distraction and remain committed to your purpose, you strengthen your sense of personal authority. Over time, this creates a deep and lasting confidence that cannot easily be shaken by circumstances. Most people seek confidence by changing how others see them. They focus on gaining attention, collecting compliments, or earning approval. While these things may provide temporary boosts in self-esteem, they are unstable foundations. The opinions of others constantly change. What people admire today, they may criticize tomorrow. If confidence depends on external reactions, it will always remain fragile. Genuine confidence grows when your self-respect comes from your own actions rather than other people's opinions. There is something powerful about knowing that you can trust yourself. Self-control creates this trust. When you consistently keep promises to yourself, your mind begins to believe in your capabilities. You no longer need constant reassurance because your actions have become evidence of your strength. Something you hope to feel and becomes something you know you possess. Many individuals underestimate the psychological impact of mastering their impulses. Every time a person gives in to a temptation they intended to resist, they experience a subtle loss of self-respect. The effect may not be obvious immediately, but repeated over time, it weakens confidence. The opposite also occurs. Every time a person successfully exercises self-control, self-respect grows. These moments accumulate, create a powerful inner foundation that supports confidence in every area of life. The magnetic quality often associated with confident individuals is not usually the result of what they say. It comes from what they embody. People naturally notice those who appear calm, focused, and self-assured. There is an energy that accompanies self-mastery. It is reflected in posture, eye contact, decision-making, and communication. A person who is not constantly seeking approval projects a different presence from someone who depends on validation. Confidence rooted in self-control also creates emotional stability. Life inevitably presents challenges, criticism, and setbacks. Those who rely on external sources of confidence often find themselves overwhelmed when circumstances become difficult. However, individuals who have built confidence through discipline possess a stronger foundation. Their sense of worth is not easily damaged because it is based on character rather than circumstances. One of the greatest advantages of self-control is the ability to remain composed under pressure. While others react impulsively to stress, temptation, or frustration, disciplined individuals maintain greater control over their responses. This composure is often mistaken for natural confidence, but it is actually the result of repeated practice. The ability to stay calm when situations become difficult sends a powerful signal both to yourself and to others. Confidence also grows when a person develops a clear sense of purpose. Self-control helps create this clarity by reducing distractions and increasing focus. When energy is directed toward meaningful goals, progress becomes visible. Every achievement reinforces belief in your abilities. Every challenge overcome becomes proof that you are capable of more than you once imagined. The most attractive form of confidence is quiet confidence. It does not need to boast, dominate conversations, or seek constant recognition. It exists independently of applause. It is the confidence of a person who knows their values, respects themselves, and remains committed to their path regardless of external opinions. This type of confidence commands respect because it is authentic rather than performative. As self-control becomes stronger, confidence naturally follows. You begin to walk differently because you trust yourself. You speak differently because you believe in your words. You approach challenges differently because you know you can endure discomfort and remain committed to your goals. The world responds differently to individuals who carry this level of certainty because true confidence is not an act that must be performed, but a presence that emerges when discipline, self-respect, and personal mastery become part of who you are. Temptation is everywhere. It appears in countless forms, often disguised as comfort, entertainment, pleasure, or convenience. It rarely announces itself as a threat. Instead, it presents itself as something harmless, something deserved, something that can be indulged in just this once. That is what makes temptation so powerful. It does not force its way into your life. It invites you. It whispers rather than shouts. It convinces rather than commands. And over time, those small moments of surrender can quietly shape the direction of an entire life. Many people believe their biggest obstacles are external. They blame circumstances, competition, lack of resources, or bad luck for their struggles. While these challenges certainly exist, some of the most significant barriers are internal. Distractions and temptations often steal more opportunities than any outside force ever could. They consume time, drain energy, weaken focus, and slowly pull individuals away from their highest potential. The modern world is designed to make distraction effortless. Never before has so much stimulation been available at every moment. A person can spend hours scrolling, watching, clicking, and consuming without realizing how much time has disappeared. These distractions provide instant rewards while demanding very little effort. The brain naturally gravitates toward what feels easy and pleasurable. Yet what feels good in the moment is not always beneficial in the long run. Every distraction carries a hidden cost. It is not only the time spent on the activity itself, it is the opportunities that could have been pursued instead. It is the skill that could have been developed, the goal that could have moved forward, the knowledge that could have been gained, and the progress that could have been achieved. Most people focus on what they are receiving from distractions while failing to recognize what they are sacrificing. Breaking free from temptation begins with awareness. Before a person can overcome a habit, they must first understand how it operates. Temptations often follow predictable patterns. They appear during moments of boredom, loneliness, stress, frustration, or uncertainty. Rather than addressing these emotions directly, many individuals seek temporary escape. The temptation becomes a form of avoidance rather than a solution. The problem with avoidance is that it never resolves the underlying issue. It only postpones it. The challenge remains. The responsibility remains. The goal remains unfinished. As a result, people become trapped in cycles where they repeatedly seek relief without creating real progress. Freedom emerges when a person stops escaping discomfort and starts confronting it. One of the most powerful shifts a person can make is learning to tolerate discomfort. Growth and discomfort are closely connected. Every meaningful achievement requires effort, patience, and persistence. The individual who cannot handle discomfort often abandons goals the moment challenges appear. The individual who accepts discomfort as part of the process gains a tremendous advantage. Temptation loses much of its power when you stop viewing discomfort as something negative. Instead of seeing challenges as obstacles, you begin seeing them as opportunities to strengthen your character. Every urge resisted becomes a victory. Every distraction ignored becomes proof of self-control. Every disciplined decision reinforces the belief that you are capable of directing your own life. Freedom is often misunderstood. Many people assume freedom means doing whatever they want, whenever they want. In reality, this mindset can create a different kind of prison. When impulses control decisions, freedom disappears. A person becomes reactive rather than intentional. Their choices are determined by cravings, emotions, and immediate desires instead of long-term goals and values. True freedom comes from self-mastery. It is the ability to choose what is best rather than simply what feels good. It is the power to remain committed to your purpose even when distractions compete for your attention. It is the ability to direct your energy toward meaningful pursuits instead of allowing external influences to dictate your behavior. As distractions lose their hold, something remarkable begins to happen. Mental clarity improves. Focus becomes sharper. Goals feel more achievable. Energy that was once scattered across countless unnecessary activities becomes available for growth, learning, and achievement. The mind becomes less cluttered and more purposeful. The journey away from temptation is not about becoming perfect. Everyone faces moments of weakness and challenge. The goal is not perfection but progress. Each day presents opportunities to make better choices, strengthen discipline, and move closer to the person you want to become. Every act of self-control creates momentum. Every decision aligned with your values builds strength. Over time, these small victories accumulate into a life defined not by distraction and impulse, but by purpose, focus, resilience, and the freedom that comes from taking complete ownership of your choices. And your future, every person carries within them two versions of themselves. One is shaped by comfort, excuses, and the path of least resistance. The other is built through discipline, courage, and intentional growth. The difference between these two versions is not determined by talent, luck, or circumstances. It is determined by daily choices. Every decision either moves a person closer to their highest potential or further away from it. The most extraordinary transformations rarely happen overnight. They are the result of consistent actions repeated over time. Many people spend years searching for something outside themselves that will change their lives. They look for secret strategies, perfect opportunities, or sudden breakthroughs. While these things can be helpful, lasting transformation begins internally. The greatest shift occurs when a person decides to take full responsibility for their future. In that moment, excuses lose their power, blame loses its influence, moves away from what cannot be controlled and toward what can be improved. Unlocking your highest version requires sacrifice. This is a truth that many people try to avoid. Every meaningful achievement demands that something be given up in exchange. Success requires sacrificing comfort. Growth requires sacrificing old habits. Excellence requires sacrificing mediocrity. Transformation begins when actions become aligned with aspirations. One of the most powerful aspects of personal growth is the realization that potential is not fixed. Many individuals underestimate themselves because they judge their future based on their current circumstances. They assume their limitations today will remain their limitations tomorrow. Yet human beings possess an incredible ability to adapt, learn, and evolve. Skills can be developed. Confidence can be strengthened, can be cultivated. Character can be refined. The person you are today does not have to be the person you remain. The journey toward your highest self often requires periods of solitude and reflection. In a noisy world filled with constant opinions and distractions, it becomes difficult to hear your own thoughts. Many people spend so much time reacting to external influences that they never take the time to understand who they truly want to become. Growth requires clarity, and clarity often emerges when distractions are reduced and attention is directed inward. As discipline becomes a regular part of life, something remarkable happens. You begin developing standards that were once absent. Behaviors that previously seemed acceptable no longer align with your goals. Activities that once consumed your time lose their appeal. The desire for growth becomes stronger than the desire for temporary pleasure. This shift is not forced. It happens naturally as your identity evolves, plays a critical role in transformation. Many people attempt to change their actions without changing the way they see themselves. As a result, their efforts often feel temporary. Lasting change occurs when behavior and identity begin working together. Instead of saying, "I am trying to be disciplined," a person begins believing, "I am disciplined." Instead of hoping to become focused, they start identifying as someone who values focus. This internal shift creates powerful consistency because actions naturally follow beliefs. The highest version of yourself is not someone who never struggles. Challenges remain a part of life regardless of success or personal development. The difference is that a stronger version of yourself responds differently to those challenges. Obstacles become opportunities to grow. Failure becomes a lesson rather than a defeat. Difficulties become training rather than punishment. Perspective changes because character has been strengthened. Every day provides an opportunity to build momentum. Small actions often appear insignificant in the moment, but they accumulate over time. A single disciplined choice may not seem life-changing. However, hundreds of disciplined choices made consistently create extraordinary results. Just as small negative habits can slowly weaken a person's future, small positive habits can gradually transform it. The path toward personal mastery is not reserved for a select few. It is available to anyone willing to commit to the process. The greatest obstacle is often not a lack of ability, but a lack of consistency. Those who remain committed during difficult moments gain access to growth that others never experience because they quit too soon. There is immense power in realizing that your future is being shaped right now by the decisions you make each day. Every act of discipline strengthens your foundation. Every challenge overcome increases resilience. Every distraction resisted creates greater focus. These choices forge a stronger mind, a clearer purpose, and a more powerful identity until the person staring back at you is no longer defined by limitations, doubts, or past mistakes, but by the relentless pursuit of excellence, self-mastery, and the extraordinary potential that was waiting to be awakened all along.